what's going on with the virus, and we eventually reach a point where Kyrie Irving is sitting courtside in New York, and he's the only one in the building who can't play, and he's not wearing a mask, and we're all confused, and Kyrie wins, and that was the pandemic, and nobody was right, and everybody was wrong, and now here comes the virus again, and everyone is getting it now.
Yeah.
Mike Ryan has diagnosed me after that first hour with officially COVID brain. I think he's the only one. He says it's a thing, but I think Mike Ryan's COVID brain might be a theory that we can get off the ground like Dr. Oz.
I'm going to make a rather embarrassing admission right now. You guys get the prompt on your iPhone to turn on exposure notifications?
No.
Well, I know you, Roy.
Yeah.
But do you guys have that prompt on your...
Exposure?
Yeah, COVID exposure notifications.
Yeah. I get it.
Do you, like I, say no?
Yes.
Just
Every time.
No, I don't want to know my exposure. I've been exposed constantly. I'm going to these sporting events. I'm hopping on airplanes. I don't need my phone to vibrate every time I've shook somebody's hand or was in general proximity to somebody. No, I don't want to know. I've just accepted that shit is everywhere. And every single person in this room knows somebody with COVID right now.
I've been to Tampa 5 times since it started, so I know I have it. Yeah. I don't need any sort of, alerts or anything. Just go to Tampa.
I don't want to know. I don't want another reminder because there's the formality of it will be like a death blow. If I get a notification on my phone saying I was in contact with somebody that tested positive, or let me assume that I am.
Can I, before we move off this subject, and I'm going to wear the national audience out with all of the local stuff here, but we are and have always been a proudly Miami show, and this is a cool and fun time in Miami sports for us. We did not get many of those in the 10 years at ESPN. We have not got many of those in general in 20 years.
I reject the wearing out of the audience. It's the NBA playoffs and the hockey playoffs, and South Florida, for the first time, has the 2 best teams in both sports. Like, how are we wearing them out? We're talking about what's going on in sports right now. Get over it.
It's not the 2 best teams yet, but it is the vying for the 2 best teams, even though after one game, because sports will make you crazy. After one game, Mike says the Panthers are done, and after one game, he is gloating in a way that I'm sure he's already annoyed the audience. But I think there's a bit of context and nuance that you guys, in your research, did not find the proper way to explain what happened in that argument with Jimmy Butler and Eric Spoelstra. What are you guys laughing about back there?
Well, so Mike is talking about these exposure notifications. So I went into my phone to see if I can flip them on, and it says I can't because of my local public health authority. So I had to pick the region that I'm in, United States, Florida. And because I said I'm in Florida, they're like, nope,
you can't find out if you've been exposed.
Yep.
Ronnie doesn't want you to know.
Oh, man.
Just assume.
DeSantis doesn't want me to know.
Exactly.
Okay, fair enough.
Devil.
Which is what you guys were just saying you kind of want to do.
Yeah, no, he's got that right.
Yeah. The only thing.
Yeah, he nailed that one. Thank you, Ron.
The details, Stugotz, on this argument, because Whittingham, you were a bit stunned. You're like, wait a minute, I haven't seen that reporting or that said that way. And you went and did some research, and what you came back with was Spoelstra saying to Jimmy Butler some form of, are you crazy? Which is one thing. That is not the thing that was said in the reporting the way that Windhorst framed it. It's not, are you crazy, which anyone can yell in an argument. The quote is, I always knew you were crazy.
This solidifies it.
I always knew you were crazy is different than, are you crazy?
I was thinking about it, thinking you're crazy.
As Spoelstra throws the clipboard, no one's ever seen him that mad. And Windhorst said some of Spoelstra's closest friends have never seen him like that. Not just the emotional outburst in the huddle, but the dark brooding he did for the rest of that quarter, almost stopping coaching as he tried to manage the fury. And then One team source, according to Windhorst, Spo was exasperated. Even Butler, who sometimes seems to actually enjoy creating conflict on his team, wondered whether this was a breaking point, sources said. Can you guys please imagine what this cauldron is? Like, what is this? What is this where Butler's like, I like to create conflict. Oh, this is too much. This is too much conflict. Let me go get 18 free throws. I've now got to go into Robert Williams, and I've got to go into spidery Jason Tatum, and I got to figure out how to get 18 free throws. I need to be crazy to do that, don't I? To fall on the floor for 10 years, jumping toward the rim and falling on the floor and getting fouled by giant people. I got to be crazy to be forged by steel by that.
I always knew you were crazy.
It's
That's
great.
something a Hollywood scriptwriter would do.
Yes.
It's like something out of Winning Time. It's just not a real human professional basketball interaction that we see. I always knew you were crazy,
It's
Jim.
awesome. Yeah.
It's so much better, though.
That's Eric Spoelstra, who is so calm.
I know.
The context is so important on this, Stugotz. I don't know what's true at the center of the huddle, but what I want to be true is I always knew you were crazy as he throws his clipboard. And so it's not Winning Time the way that the, 30 years later, the way you tell the story in Winning Time, it's an uglier version of it. Like, you're an asshole. You're an asshole. We hate each other. We're going to punch each other in the face. Let's hold the trophy together.
Does he talk to Riley or his wife in private moments and say, hey, can you believe this crazy mother bleeper put up 41 again? He's doing things that only Jordan did.
I think he says something to that, but it ends right before put up 41 a game. I think it's like, can you believe this crazy mother bleeper? I cannot wait for Spoelstra to say that to Jimmy Butler as he hands him the very first Larry Bird Eastern Conference MVP award. I always knew you were crazy.
But I just can't believe that, this is Brian Windhorst's gamer of game one. It's like Jimmy Butler is worth the drama. You read a paragraph. And then, paragraph 5 is, but back in March when Butler had pushed Spoelstra to the brink in the midst of a sideline outburst during a game against Golden State, he barked at Butler, I always knew you were crazy, as the argument spilled onto the court. For Butler, 3 seasons worth of give and take finally led to finding the line. This is his reaction of game one. I'm sure later in this story I'm going to read, and Gabe Vincent filled up the box score with 18 points on 6 of 9 from the floor.
Can we?
What a weird story.
Stugotz, this sentence is the one that I love. This sentence, because I just think that we sometimes get removed from what it is that we're watching, and we don't realize that these people go to a workplace, not an office, but a workplace where they have to interact. This sentence, okay? Given what you know about the last 5 years of Jimmy Butler, even Butler, who sometimes seems to actually enjoy creating conflict on his team, wondered whether this was a breaking point. What is that?
I don't know.
What is that? At the center of everything, how does that go get 41 points? And it's allowed to do whatever it wants if it can go get 41 points with his shoulder and with his neck and just going neck first into the rim.
We once asked the question, if Dwayne Wade punched Pat Riley in the face right before Game 7, would he still start? And we all answered yes.
Riley answered yes.
Riley answered yes.
So
to answer your question, yes. Spoelstra thinks he's crazy, but Jimmy Butler at this point can do whatever the hell he wants.
No, but I'm asking you a real world, real workplace situation. We cover the hell out of these teams. What's going on in the workplace when Jimmy Butler likes to create conflict all over the place? And even he's like, well, that was too much conflict. I got to get out of here. Let me go to the next place. What do you mean somebody likes to go into a workplace and just create conflict?
Paragraph 11 of this story is Eric Spoelstra dark brooding. It says here, but even some of Spoelstra's closest friends had never seen him like that. Not just the emotional outburst in the huddle, but the dark brooding he did for the rest of the quarter. Eric Spoelstra is not a dark brooder. He's a flat-lined, even-keel guy for 48 minutes. Dark brooding? And think about, this is the guy who coached the Big Three Heat in year one under the most intense scrutiny, who was constantly questioned for not having nearly enough credentials.
And this is more challenging?
Oh, yes, much more challenging, it would appear.
And then there are these quotes from the locker room because PJ and Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, Jimmy Butler has found a kindred spirit in the guy who's made of chains and in PJ Tucker. They love each other. And PJ Tucker gets hurt in the game, and they ask him after the game, did you know you would come back, and when did? And he interrupted, always come back.
Oh, man.
I love PJ Tucker's post-game
Goosebumps.
press conference.
Oh.
God damn it, we biffed another one of these parlays. I
Oh, my God,
I
so
thought
bad.
once
What
that first
happened?
flip
So
shot went
bad.
in, I'm like, okay, we got a rhythm, boys.
But the Stros won.
Stugotz should
Stros
pick
pounded Boston.
Stugotz should pick the next parlay. Stugotz
Yeah.
should pick the next one.
PJ Tucker went to the locker room. That one was over.
We got hurt. Yes, our parlay got hurt when he limped off to the locker room.
We also said we kind of like the Florida Panthers -1.5. That did not work out. We also said keep an eye on. Said don't look now, but here come the Halos.
They lost 10-5 last
So
night.
the only thing that we highlighted in everything,
The
which
Stros
wasn't
were
an
up
official,
9-1 after 2 innings.
they won 13-4. I think Evaldi gave up 5. Look at my Boston
5
sports
homers in 1
knowledge.
inning.
You know what
Yes.
happened?
Yeah.
I listened to the Sports Hub after the Heat game. I heard the sports.
Did
sports
you
flash.
eat it up? You did
Oh
that?
yeah, Nathan Evaldi, one of the first pitchers in several years to throw 5 home runs in 1 inning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 inning.
The
Second inning.
Astros,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Astros, the Stugotz said, well, yeah, I think he said it for the Astros game before, but we counted it for this Astros game. Otherwise, we would have gotten everything wrong in the parlay.
All right, Stugotz, you pick
But
the next parlay.
The one thing that we got right,
Excited.
the one thing that we got right was that all of a sudden Stugotz says, look for the Astros, and in the second inning, they hit 5 home runs off of Evaldi. But Mike, you buried the lead. In all your careening and grief about the Panthers and everything else, you're telling me that you did one of your favorite late night crawls through the desperate annals of Boston Celtics sports radio misery? Who's calling WFAN to wail into a telephone?
What a night it was. I mean, the Celtics lost. Horford and Smart, they're not available. You had Evaldi giving up 5 homers to the Stros.
You weren't doing this.
What a night for Boston radio.
The playoffs has escalated, Stugotz, because I don't think he did this during the Philadelphia series. He hated Philadelphia. He wanted to beef with Philadelphia, but I don't think he went through the alleys of Philadelphia looking to laugh in the faces by listening to sports radio late at night, howling at the moon.
That's a night in Boston, Dan. I am telling you, he didn't do it, by the way, because he didn't feel the need to do it, because he thought that Philadelphia series was going to be easy, and it turned out to be fairly easy. But that is a night, if you're a Boston radio host, no monologue, no nothing. Just announce yourself, give out the phone number, and go.
Let Boston wail.
We go to Sully in Worcester. Hey, they really miss Horford. I got to play. Where was Smart? It's a totally different series with Smart out there. Oh, I love it. Which leads me to Mike Ryan's top 5 favorite things of the quarantine.
Wow.
Okay.
What?
Yeah. This is you'll see why.
Okay, but again, because I really want to dig through the dark. You crawling late at night. Everyone around here is working a lot. We're all bouncing between playoff games. We can't keep track of everything that's
I
happening.
had a
around here.
5:30 a.m. call time, but I stayed listening to Boston Sports Hub till
Attaboy.
1:30 in the morning.
Mike, you went drinking with a friend of yours, and he drank as much as he's ever had, and you had a wake up call an hour and a half later because there was a soccer game that needed to be played, and you're crazed. You're a lunatic. You've been snorting the playoffs. You're telling me
Sports Equinox.
that you had time. You made time in your schedule because you're like listening to 7 audiobooks in one ear and 3 podcasts in another.
Yeah.
And you made time in your schedule to just sit down with like a drink where you like a snifter.
I was showering with my iPhone. I have like a spot where I can hold my iPhone. I was just blasting Boston Sports Hub simultaneously as I was whistling in the shower.
What's your phone getting wet?
I was doing the cool jerk. I was doing the cool. Well, hey now.
Hell yeah.
All right. So
Wait,
top
wait.
5 things. But I'm gonna explain the Boston thing because the Boston thing is one of my favorite things of the quarantine.
Fine, but I simply want people to go through your evening. At your last weeks, you've been crawling around with your fandom. This show's been crawling around with its fandom. You're tired. You're telling me that your last night was the misery of this other team that I started working for 25 years ago, made me kind of care about sports in this market, helped me start my career even though they never paid me. This team I really care about, that my wife is crazy about. I went to that playoff game. I've got that stink on me.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get, as I go further and further south and closer to the heat, I'm going to get scrubbed up and end up in the shower, and I'm going to end my night, a night of misery, when I think the hockey playoffs are over for me because I'm not going to win this series. You scrub it off last night by just literally bathing in Boston's misery.
Bathing with Scott Zolak. I mean,
We go to Petey and Gloucester. We got to get the ball in Pritchard's hands more. I think Pritchard's a gamer. Mike's top 5 favorite things of the quarantine.
yes.
Number 5, The Last Dance. Remember where you were? You were so starved for sports. Last Dance was our sports.
Wow.
Yeah.
ESPN rushed it, and we did
unbelievable.
weeks of shows where we would recap that week's episode of The Last Dance. We may not have had the NBA Finals going on at that part of the calendar like we should have, but instead we were talking about the Jazz Bulls NBA Finals from '97.
We bathed in nostalgia. We were so desperate to have some sort of smack for our addiction.
Yeah, we all needed it. We were grateful for it. It's honestly an upset that it's only at number 5. Number 4, Coach Doug's.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That was a time. That was, I didn't understand it, but Coach Doug's ran college football video game world. I don't understand.
I was living and dying with a national championship game between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Miami Hurricanes, and Coach Doug's finally did the impossible, won a national title for Tennessee. I was in on all the Coach Doug stuff. It was teaching me about Twitch. Learning about Twitch was also, that's actually on my bottom 5 things about the quarantine. I'd put that above the coronavirus on the least favorite things about the quarantine, is learning how to operate and run a Twitch.
You're right about that.
Yeah. So, number 3, Tiger King.
Two better, huh?
The best. Yeah, 2 better things.
Wow.
Number 2 is Christmas. And it's also listening to Boston Sports Radio after the Celtics lose to the Miami Heat. I'm telling you, this is a time-honored tradition, and yes, these games are going late, but trust me, if you love the Miami Heat, it is well worth it to hear such dimes as, enter in this series, I thought Jaylen Brown was the second best player in the series. Now I think it's Jimmy Butler. Tatum's still number 1, but he let us down. And number 1, David Guetta dedicating a beat drop to George Floyd's family, thus ending racism.
From a Miami balcony.
Yes.
Why did I write that
It
down?
was amazing. No, it was.
I think he sampled Martin Luther King. He sampled.
Shout out to his family.
Shout out to George Floyd and his family.
What the fuck?
That's what happened. That's what happened. It's a real
never seen
thing.
this
You've never
video?
seen this?
This video-
Oh, he ended racism.
No, we're gonna do a social
Oh, we
video
have to.
prank
Roy, we need
of
to
him
get,
watching this
Roy,
for the first
we
time.
have to do that,
Roy,
yes.
let's do it right now. Well, let's close this segment out by putting in front of Roy the most awkward viral video of the pandemic, which is a with very little ability to understand the tone of the country. We mixed MLK and house music awkwardly on was he by a pool, Whittingham?
He was in a New York balcony. This was an MLS tie-in
Yes.
You're confusing it with the other David Guetta pandemic broadcast. I was in Brickell Key.
He had multiple.
That was
Yeah.
a banger.
All right, hold on. Roy is now watching this for the first
The
time.
YouTube is titled
Yes.
David Guetta Ends Racism.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, Roy.
And this was not in Miami. This was in New York.
Is in honor of George Floyd. And I really hope we can see more unity and more peace when already things are so difficult. So, shout out to his family.
Oh no. Yeah, it's over. Roy
threw his headset.
Roy threw his headset. He has left the studio. Yes, that is such
Problem solved.
That
I mean.
is such funny music to start right after that. Just happy house music. talking about
Do we
this
have a board?
earlier this week when we
Need
were
a board.
when we were discussing, was it Limp Bizkit or Fred Durst or just that these bands of this era, there were like 7 or 10 of them that it felt like they were all the same.
The starting point was Roy is full of shit.
Yep.
A pop culture maven, the person that would be my first draft all time for any trivia game, just decides he's going to pretend like he forgot all of pop culture from the year 1997 through the year 2009.
And then he remembers an at-bat from Paul O'Neill in the middle of July in 92 somewhere. I mean, come on.
90s baseball. God damn it.
You're so full of it.
It's a two Americas based argument, and you're talking about baseball.
Yeah. And Two Americas guy is also the world's biggest hockey fan who purchased every EA Sports NHL game
weird.
in which
whole
all of
thing's
these
weird.
bands are so prominently featured.
Which America you in?
Yeah.
Roy,
I'm in my America.
Half the time you're in Canada.
Yeah, Roy. Seriously, your America is one America in Canada is what it is. Hockey, Roy would love to be Canadian. There, I said it.
I got a passport just in case.
So what are you doing with these faces? What's happening
you
here,
have
Mike?
pictures right now in front of you. You came in here joyful. You were very excited.
I'm trying to find some sort of tripod or board so we can make this also work for all of you guys, as you'll be doing play-by-play on it. But what I did was I got 10 faces of new metal past, some present. All right, 10 faces of from bands.
Fumble.
Can you get 10 faces of professional hitters from the 90s? I like to play that game.
I got 10 faces of people from rock bands, new metal rock bands, alt rock bands from the years 1997 through 2007. But here's a twist. I have 13 logos
Oh, boy.
of bands.
A twist.
And basically, you have to match the band with the face.
Wow.
So we have a giant board.
Seven dust.
Yeah.
Billy, why are you
away the
so
game.
excited?
Sorry, Mike, I'm sorry.
You are
I'm
so
sorry. I'm
excited
sorry.
about
I'm
this. What is this? Is this your brainchild? Whose idea was this?
No, this was my brainchild, but this is where my powers and Billy's powers combine because he
Not
came,
how I
Billy
remember it.
objected to that.
No. This was Billy did come up with a match game, and I came up with the contestants, and this is where Billy and I our passion for arts and crafts really unite because, as you know, I've been quoted as saying radio production is 70% arts and crafts.
Yep. Of
So,
But Billy,
seed,
why are you?
idea in motion.
I taught you that, right?
There's a
Finish.
big board now in our golf studio. If I don't know the camera people, if you can go over to the golf studio, we're gonna need probably some little some scotch tape so we could put these faces on there, and we're also gonna have to turn on those microphones. So we're kind of figuring this out on the go. But we have a giant board out there where we can put these faces and then the bands that we're trying to get Roy to match together.
So match the band with the face.
Yeah,
Okay,
the
got
face with
it.
the band. Yeah, and
Roy
I
can
was-
do it. Yeah.
I was told, well, okay, so this is kind of what we're up against here, right? Is that in Roy's perfect scenario, for Roy to be right, Roy will get none right because Roy wants us all to believe that he doesn't know who any of these people are. So Roy will be trying to lose this game, right? Intentionally, so that he can prove how
But this has
little
been
he
a
knows or
plague.
cares.
This week, it's been a plague that Roy's only move is to deny that he knows anything.
But
So he's
And-
going to be throwing this
and-
comment.
and-
Except
but-
Paul O'Neill.
But I saw that move coming from a mile away. So what I did was I challenged him.
Good for
You're
you.
not going to get any in this one because I am also very good at this, and I'm going to absolutely stump you with these faces and bands.
So
But
now
you picked the faces and the bands, though.
well, but-
yeah, but I know he's not going to get any
all
of
right.
them.
This is
okay.
what we have going on. This is like the context behind the scene. We have Roy's inner turmoil here of proving himself right or proving Mike wrong. So we're going to try to find out which is more important to Roy, being right about not knowing any or proving Mike wrong.
Yes.
I like it.
So
I
basically,
thought I saw Billy Corgan there.
Oh, that's Friday because Miami.
Any bald white guy.
so basically,
is Billy Corgan. So just keep it moving.
I'm going to be the Panthers power play in round one. I'm not going to get any of these right.
Yeah, you're going to get blanked. You're going to get
terrible
blanked.
attitude,
No,
Roy.
it's a
I
terrible
mean-
attitude, and
And I'm gonna make it's gonna make you a bad hockey fan because
Bad
new metal, and pop culture. The intersection was ice hockey.
Billy, it's a terrible attitude,
Was.
and it's a terrible game.
Yes.
Because this is not this as an audio experience. The reveals of faces and arts
I've
and
never
crafts.
had Billy give me so much buy-in on an idea.
No, he
ever.
loves it.
They're
He
working
says it's a
together.
great
No,
game.
Yes.
no, I love this game as
It's
well.
not about the game. It's about exposing Roy, seeing what's more important to Roy.
I understand, but I've never seen Billy in this sort of arts and crafts frenzy where we've clearly tapped
Wheelhouse.
into. He wants to do like an FBI does like string chart of. He's got a whole idea in his head, and the reason.
I found the Scotch tape. We're
Of
good.
course you did.
But Billy, before you leave, just real quick, I want you to understand that.
No time.
Okay, very good.
He's never moved this quickly. I've never seen him so excited.
I've never been more attracted to him. Who knew that pacing a bunch of frontmen from new metal bands would be the connection point that Billy and I so sorely needed over the years?
Do you think Billy would say the same about you right now?
Billy's got his own agenda, but I'm enjoying it.
Chris
Mutually
Cody,
beneficial at this point.
where is this game going? Because Billy, I've never seen him this invested in anything. He's got Scotch tape. He's got arts and crafts. And what I wanted to tell him is I believe that Eric Rydholm, after 20 years grinding it out on Pardon the Interruption with those two old sports writers, I believe he still does all the arts and crafts for that show and loves doing it. And Billy has had this part of himself never fed. It's
Billy
never
and
been
Mike
fed.
have always loved when they can pull out some scissors.
Yeah,
the studio.
we are disciples of the Ride Home way. That's where I learned that arts and crafts is basically what makes a good producer.
There's still confetti falling from this ceiling from like Billy cutting up a bunch of confetti like
He
7
loves
years
it.
ago.
Yeah.
Every like once
coming
a
back in to talk
month,
about it.
month, a piece of confetti will all of a sudden just start
Well,
trickling
Billy,
down.
what I know that's true. I've seen that. Billy, why don't we do more of this? Why don't we get you an arts and crafts budget?
I was so upset during the Paul O'Neill interview because we were talking about Chris Sabo, and underneath my desk for the longest time I had a miniature Chris Sabo figurine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that Juju sent. I think it
How
was
many things are under there?
I think it was
find
purged.
You
I think it was
couldn't
purged.
Find it. You had it for that one moment. As soon as Paul O'Neill popped
Yeah.
up in the screen, you had your ability. You spent the
Chris
whole
Sabo,
segment
yeah.
trying to find a crisp Sabo bobblehead.
Yeah, and I didn't want to move like Roy out of the way because I thought it might be in the desk, but all that's in there is rats.
If you
so.
have that bobblehead under your desk, how much
It was a
shit
miniature
do you
figurine.
have under
Everything,
there?
everything.
Holy Jesus.
His
Well,
whole
no, I
world.
also look, guys. There was a very sad purge that happened here at some point in time because when you were discussing the confetti, I was looking for the hair dryer that I used to have that we got from the hotel that I turned into a confetti cannon.
You're
Where-
winded.
Yeah, no, there's
You're
a lot
running
going
back
on
and
here.
forth. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm out
arts
of
and
shape,
crafts.
man, I'm telling
I mean,
you, yeah.
you know,
I need.
that's
Well, I
what
need.
it
I
does
also
to you.
need to tell people when he says, and he did this purposefully, when he says that he pulled a couple of rats out from under his desk. They are the Florida Panthers hockey rats that are plastic and are thrown on the ice. Although if he had
clarification
if he
there.
had pulled out a couple of rats that were just rats, it wouldn't have surprised anybody.
Well,
either.
also when I opened the drawer and I didn't find Chris Sabo, I said rats, so I could understand the confusion.
There is something very cathartic about arts and crafts. A little arts and crafts. You like arts and crafts, Dan, don't you?
Well, I like when others do arts and crafts. I don't know if
You don't
I
like throwing something in the kiln?
I don't know. I don't know that I would view arts and crafts as cathartic.
Ask Mike. I mean,
But
I love it. Now I'm trying to get the perfect bed for this game. I'm not sure what we call it though.
Roy's full of shit is what I thought we agreed.
Is Roy full of shit?
No, Roy's
Right.
full of shit is what we're calling the game. I thought we'd
no need
already
to play then.
I thought we'd already decided that. Had we not? I don't want to contaminate the jury pool, but as I said, Roy's full of shit.
Is this the one? Should we go
But
with this?
this
track?
isn't going to prove anything because Roy's not going to know it.
It's going to prove what Roy wants more.
Oh, there's Chris Sabo.
That's it.
Oh my God!
I found
Found him.
Sabo.
What an
I
artifact!
found Sabo.
And his arm, is that his arm that was broken?
No, that's a bat.
Where are the goggles, Billy?
They're there, but they're flesh colored. This was a low budget product, I would say. Yes.
They're there?
That's
They're
one
intact?
that's one of the
They're intact.
shittiest things I've ever seen.
Whoa, that was
What?
a gift from
Are you
Juju Gotti, I
what?
believe. Come on, Dan.
This bed's missing a little something. Perhaps a DJ, some bad rap. I got to keep working.
Yeah, it's a little aggressive. It's bothering me.
Well, new metal is aggressive, Dan. It's not aggressive enough.
A Toledo Rockets flag has been
yes.
has emerged from
Unfurled.
has been unfurled. Thank you. It is the word I
Don't let
should
it
have
touch the ground.
chosen. I aired, and yes, it has been unfurled.
Why do you have that?
Don't let it touch the ground. You
You
think?
can respect the flag. I mean,
Respect the Rockets.
yes.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at LeBatard Show. Is it sacrilegious for the Toledo football flag to hit the ground?
Yeah.
Still not there. We're missing a whiny voice.
But Billy, how do you think this is going to work out as an audio experience for the
terribly.
people?
Yeah, this is strictly a digital play. Yeah, I still haven't figured out what Roy wants this to be. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think that he wants to win. I don't think he wants to be right.
But would you be honest, Roy, if you did know somebody? This is the question, because Roy's full of shit doesn't work if you're always full of shit.
I would absolutely be honest if I knew a person.
I doubt it. Yeah.
Well, I'm full of shit on that too.
You don't think that you'd recognize Fred Durst?
No.
Oh, shut up. You didn't even. You're lying. You wouldn't recognize somebody with a backwards red Yankee cap. Come on now.
Well, our printer's only
God.
black and white ink. But this is what
That's
I
true, yeah.
I tried to test Roy earlier when we were discussing this going on. I said, Roy, when we play this game, you're going to have to match Fred Durst to Blink 182. And he looked at me and goes, Fred Durst wasn't in Blink 182.
I did not say that.
Mm-hmm.
I did not say
I'm
that.
on to him.
Why you're full of shit.
Well, is the segment Roy's full of shit or Billy's full of shit?
I mean, that would be a short segment if it was Billy's full of shit.
I think
All
this
right.
works, Mike.
We got our. I think this
Yeah,
is the one.
this is it.
We got
Yeah.
our mics in place.
Be very careful because we switched from Scotch tape to thumbtacks. So don't hurt yourself, Roy.
All right. Oh, I love these faces.
You're
on
the
this
game
board.
show host here, and you're playing with Roy.
All right, let's do it.
And how can I help? How can I help?
We have to call it,
the audience. You and me have to call it
I guess.
to help the audience, so that this isn't just terrible music playing, as we do something that's going to have a visual
This feels
payoff.
live and dangerous.
Oh,
This
we
is
don't have the
fun.
rights to this music either. They're not going to hear any of the music. No, I know. I was just joshing them.
So Mike and Roy
Que malo.
are going to the other room. Who is hosting this thing? Like, who's going to be asking the questions?
Witty.
Witty?
Oh,
Okay.
Mike is going to the other studio.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
multiple microphones over there. So
Okay.
you'll have a, Pat Sajak type over there with a contestant. Yeah.
We are doing it live on the fly, no preparation. This is all ad-libbed. Chris Cody
I'm
is
dancing.
for some reason. It feels scary. We are live. We are inventing a game show right now that will be prove nothing, because Roy can just lie his way through it.
I've already stabbed myself twice with them.
I said
Yeah,
be careful
dangerous
with
game.
the thumbtacks. I
Yeah.
said it. Dan, I said it. I said it.
Billy, why weren't you out there thumbtacking? Because of
I
your
did. I
affinity
said,
for.
well, I had to find Sabo.
Of all the arts and crafts things, what's your favorite? String, thumbtacks, tape?
Not string, yarn, obviously.
Yarn,
In the
right,
family
sorry.
of the string types, I would go with yarn. I'm not a thumbtack person. I like two-sided tape.
Ooh.
In the days of sports
It sticks
bang.
on both your fingers, though. I mean,
Yeah, no, but in the days of sports bang, two-sided tape was my go-to when we were playing the I don't remember what the card game was that we used to play.
Can we please go down memory lane real quick, because the phrase
card game.
no, when you say sports bang, it conjures.
Sponsored by Isle Casino.
Oh, yeah.
Please,
Right.
please tell me more. Please, just tell me all the stories.
Those are under here too. Hold on.
You've got the budget. You've got the budget for arts and crafts under the desk from 10 years ago. For those who do not know, Stugotz, I imagine there are many people listening who do not know what Sports Bang is.
Sports Bang was a local, kind of first take-ish type show, but lighter, Billy was the producer. He was excellent at it. Me and Goldie, we were hosting it along with Amber Wilson. And so Joy Taylor for a little bit as
Yeah.
well. It was a local show, CBS, Saturday mornings, that kind of got people ready for the sports weekend.
Occasionally, Bryant McKinney would come on,
Yep.
and he would bring whatever musical act he was promoting because he has a record
was so
label.
great.
And we would let him on. Yeah.
And
It was
also
so
Brian
great.
McFadden, who now is like a
Yeah.
big deal on CBS
Yep.
Sports, was there too.
Yeah.
Billy, you say it with a sly smile on your face. You've
He
got to
does.
have the great Brian McKinney stories, because it was so random and wonderful to see all of a sudden on Sports Bang, and here's a musical act out of nowhere.
So he,
Bree Beauty.
yeah, Bree Beauty, that's right. That wasn't even the best. That wasn't even the best McKinney situation. The best
Mom?
McKinney, no, not Mom. Who's
She was great.
Stugotz promised a show to Brian McKinney and his mom.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, guys, you guys are
There
great.
was something there.
Bill, let's bring her on. It's gonna be great. This is gonna be great. But that wasn't the best
I
thing.
saw something.
The best McKinney thing that I remember was
The McKinneys, I mean.
and I don't want this to be liable in any way, so let me be careful with how I say it. But in the Bullygate situation was going on at the time, and he was on that team.
Something in the McKinneys.
I
It
did.
says
Yeah,
over here.
I did.
So when Bullygate came out, the day that it was released, like the transcripts of like the Fine Journal or whatever, we like stopped taping and we're like, we need to talk about this. And we told Brian McKinney and we're like, oh, like they released. He's like, they got the journals, and then just like laughed, and then we did a whole segment.
I got the
We
journal.
were showing him pictures of the journals.
You guys were closer. You guys got more accurate reported details than
Oh, no,
anybody
none of that
in,
made air,
in the
yeah.
industry.
We would get a sponsor, and that sponsor would become a co-host. Matt Beecher, the head of Homestead Motor Speedway,
Yeah,
did the
that-
show more than Goldie did.
He was on at least twice a year, and we also
I loved watching it.
we had the
it was
general
so
manager of like
so good.
Papa John's sales on like
It was
4
so
times.
good.
He had to ring the doorbell to get in. Remember? We had a doorbell.
Cutting it up. That's the pizza segment.
It wasn't hokey at all, Dan. When you entered the studio and announced that you were here, you had to ring a doorbell so me and Billy knew,
so
and then we
Billy-
let you in.
Billy-
We also had a segment sponsored by Anajar and Levine, which is a local like law firm, and we gave Amber Wilson a gavel, and she would decide who was right and wrong
Do you
about certain
think? Do you
things.
think
Yeah.
that Juju can find that anywhere? People would love to see Sports Bang clips of you.
No, it was
We
a
should bring it
different
back.
time, yeah.
Are you running around with Scotch tape? Are you running around like that? What was the budget that you're talking about when you think of the arts and crafts? Because that show did have good arts and crafts. You did make things.
There was, I was begging Stugotz at a certain point to get like a Party City sponsorship because it was basically like every Wednesday or Thursday night I was at Party City buying things. We had an award show one time where we gave away like, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like NBA awards or something, and I was spray painting like at 1 a.m. on Thursday because we filmed on Fridays. Basketball gold.
That
and
show was good,
gluing it to
Billy.
things.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if
The
like,
Bangies.
that
That's
show
not
was.
what it was called.
I think we called it.
Dan, you tuned in a lot?
I did.
He did, actually.
I did.
He would text me.
I would enjoy
On mute?
watching. I would enjoy watching the show.
Hey.
They had games that
I loved the
that have
games.
now
Panic or Calm with the stick figures running back
Yeah,
and
running
forth.
back.
best.
That was a big
The
win
best.
for us.
The
Yeah, that
best.
was with graphics department. That was a whole. Yeah.
All right,
I remember I saw it on a cruise one time because I was off, and I saw Sports Bang on a cruise in the Caribbean because the TV package had that local channel, and I was like, that was my moment. I took a picture on my phone of Sports Bang on a cruise. Also, yesterday, we don't need to talk about this today. I met the person who's responsible for the TV packages on cruise ships. Incredible. Big fan of the show, John.
Okay, we will talk about that at a later date. Thank you for sharing.
Why?
I don't know.
Welcome, everybody, to the game show that is sweeping the nation. I'm talking, of course, about Is Roy Full of Shit? I'm your host, Mike Ryan. On the board today, we have 10 mostly white faces of new metal and alt rock from the early 2000s. In my hand, I have 13 band logos that I've cut together and handed to our contestant today, Roy. It says here you're a hockey fan.
Hey, let's hear it from
That is
Roy.
true,
Yeah.
sir. Yes.
All right, Roy, I am going to be handing you these band logos, and your job is to match the logo that you think best fits the face. I will be as descriptive as I can with these faces without giving away the bands because that would be the answer. Roy, let us begin. Left to right, top row. There's this gentleman holding a guitar, so he's an instrumentalist. He has got a very long beard that he has braided up and very spiky hair, along with a pretty nifty neck beard. Go ahead, find the band that you think matches this rocker most.
Let me stop you guys for just a moment, Mike. The lighting is bad on the left side of the room, so just so you know, we cannot see what's happening on the left side of that board. The right side is easier.
It's not a professional game show studio.
There we
Dan.
go.
I
Well,
mean,
it's a
on the
white
fly
background.
here. Yeah.
We're doing the best. All right, there I see it. Okay, now I can.
I think
I
that's
can be a better
Andre
host.
Agassi. I mean,
That's a second placard.
It is
Just
clearly
avoid that. We're on this
No,
one.
That is
no, that guy's
clearly
second from left is the-
bloated Andre Agassi.
No, he's
It
the
is,
manager
it
of
is.
Charlotte FC. I'm
Is that
telling
Zach
you.
Harper? First
All
one?
right, first one. Here we go. Spiky hair, very spiky hair, lots of gel, neck beard, braided beard, also all the way down. Screaming into a microphone. What band is he is? All right, Roy has decided that he is going with a logo that says "Lit" on it. Lit. We will come back to that and find out if he's right. Moving on to the person that Stugotz called Andre Agassi.
He's also David Holcomb, Miami Heat security with face piercing.
Going through a phase.
Earlier in this segment, Dan proudly proclaimed that this was Billy Corgan of Smashing Pumpkins.
I only saw a flash of him. To be fair, I only saw your cards. You were hiding your cards, not Billy Corbin.
Oh, my bad.
This gentleman over here has a very interesting piercing, by the way. He's got a piercing coming from the bottom of his lip all the way to the bottom of his chin. Very intimidating presence. He is going with the logo that says Disturbed. We'll find out at the end of the game if he is indeed right. Coming up next, we have a guy with goggles on his head, looking like he's about to fly a crop duster, very spiky hair, and an interesting outfit.
Chris Sabo.
Inside Chris Sabo. Try to find the logo as we move through this quickly. I will give you a bit of trivia. This gentleman is Rob Zombie's younger brother.
Mike, just so that you know, Chris Cody just whispered in my ear on number 3, 10 may have been too many. And then
10 is way too many.
and then he ran into the shadows. Number 4.
All right, Roy has just put the Deftones logo on that. Moving quickly, we go over to another bald person. I can tell you that this person is uber conservative. He has been radicalized by the right. He is often declaring that Anthony Fauci should be arrested at his concerts. But he is an absolute smooth singer with the acoustic guitar. Put a logo up there. He has put up Breaking Benjamin. Now we move on to a person that it looks like a mugshot, but it's not. He looks like he was heavily influenced by the 1990s film Swingers. Roy's quickly putting up a placard that says Stained on this one. Okay, halfway done with this, guys. We are now in our lightning round. Up here we have a black gentleman because I realized how this game was going. So I had to put up a black gentleman.
Can I stop you for a second, Mike? Because Chris Cody is having a whole commentary of a show in my ear that is good, and I want it on air.
It seems like Mike is just flexing his music snob muscles here.
And he wants to be a game show host.
It's the combination, and you don't get the chances very often to do both of these at once. So Mike has gone, like you right now, you have not gone Limp Bizkit category of excellent. You are taking some
too deep, I think.
I don't know if it's too deep, but and he is right. These people were all the same, but it was. This is a little bit of elite on this trashy music that you're doing.
Supposed to be
it's supposed elite to be new metal. I don't even know there was such a thing. As you saw, you guys may have missed it, but we did get equal representation here. We had to put in one black gentleman because I wasn't liking the way
Roy,
that the game was
Sugar
going.
Ray. That's Mark McGrath.
All right, he's just put up a placard that said Power Man 5000 for the black gentleman. A white gentleman that looks like Jay Cutler, he put up a placard that says
He kind of looks like Legler to me, the guy with the Switchfoot logo.
Is that Mark McGrath?
It looks like Mark McGrath.
It doesn't matter. Roy's going to get it right. Is that Mark McGrath?
All right, Roy is putting
Now
on
it's
a
Birdman.
placard for another person
that's
that
Kelly
looks...
Olynyk.
Yeah, a gentleman that looks like Kelly Olynyk.
It's Kelly Olynyk's hair on J.J. Watt's face.
And
be a great name for the lead singer of a band, Olynyk.
All right, we are down to
Olynyk
our last
is a great name
two.
for a band.
Great name, yeah.
Yes.
We're down to our last two. You could argue that I saved the two most famous for last. He has put up a puddle of mud.
That's Mike Marchand.
Lebo.
Mike Marchand. And finally, we close with a heavily tatted face.
This is where he gets it wrong on purpose. There's
I'll fight
no
him if
way
he
he
gets
gets
this
this
one
one wrong.
Roy!
He's doing this on purpose.
He's doing a thing. He knows
He's
that.
doing
All
it on
right,
purpose.
Roy, if you could give me the leftover placards for the logos to show the fans the ones that you decided to pass up on.
Well, these are his final answers?
These
He's
are his
fine with
final
this?
answers. He omitted Blink-182. Yeah, that's the
doing a
Blink-182 logo is gone. I can tell you most certainly that there is a member of Blink-182 on there. He left the Drowning
Travis
Pool
Barker,
logo
yeah.
there. That's actually a good job out of Roy because this was a false band. There isn't representation for Drowning Pool there. And he put in Static X. Roy, Static X was our first contestant in which you put Lit on him. He's no longer with us. So this is actually Static X.
Rest in power.
So
Rest in power,
0 for 1. Roy, you actually got Andre Agassi right.
Wow.
Hey!
It is a lead singer from Disturbed.
Nice.
Give us a wah! Wah! Yeah, there you go.
Oh, is that guy?
Down with the sickness.
Wow.
Roy,
Oh,
who
okay.
knew that Roy was down with the sickness, everybody? We move on to the lead singer of a band called Power Man 5000. I believe this is Rob Zombie's younger brother.
Oh, that's
and you
wrong.
put up Deftones, which is particularly
Bob
angering
Zombie.
to me.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
that
apologize.
is not
Just
the singer of
7
Deftones.
more now.
The zombies.
For Aaron Lewis of Stained, you put Breaking Benjamin. That is wrong.
Yeah.
And for the singer of Lit, who was heavily influenced by the 90s film Swingers, you put the placard Stained. So that was wrong. We already established Rob Zombie's younger brother was in Power Man 5000. This is a singer from Seven Dust. Switchfoot is a Christian rock band that you put over here for Jay Cutler. That is not one of the alt-rock bands.
That's
was one of those
McGrath,
fakes.
I apologize.
For the Puddle of Mud singer, this one's my favorite answer of yours. You put a band called Rusted Root, which is honestly a folk band that sang the 90s hit On My Way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm
He's
starting to
showing
think
off.
Chris Cody
Chris
was
is
right
showing
about all
off.
of
Yeah, I
this.
think
Yeah.
Not
this
about
Cody-
Roy, it's about him.
Yeah.
I think the show. Go ahead, number 9.
Number 9 for Chino Moreno of Deftones. He put on a Puddle of Mud. We already established that the singer
a
of
minute.
Rusted Root is actually the singer of Puddle of Mud.
Didn't Roy say he knew Deftones earlier?
And
I knew the song,
perhaps
yes.
the most egregious and the one that made me think he was throwing the competition
Agreed.
for Travis Barker of Blink-182. He put Seven Dust.
Such
I have no
bullshit, by the way. Such
You're a
bullshit.
fraud.
100%
Roy
on
is
purpose.
full of shit.
Yeah.
Roy
I
is
am
full
not-
of shit.
Roy is full of shit. Roy is full of shit. Roy is full of shit. Roy is full of shit.
You know, I got some bourbon right here. I'm gonna have some. You're making me drink.